This is the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, Impact Wrestling Superstar, and possible future Impact Wrestling World Champion. We will find out April 23rd at Rebellion when I face Moose one-on-one finally after the longest 6 months of my life. And this is the Battleground Podcast.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back into another episode of the Battleground Podcast, iHeartRadio's official wrestling podcast. And you know, a big thing is happening this weekend, and I'm talking about Impact Wrestling Spring Pay-Per-View Extravaganza. I'm talking about Rebellion, live April 23rd from the MJN Convention Center in Poughkeepsie, New York. Let me bring on my tag team partner. Eli joins us. There he is.
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, it's always fun to say that.
We just talked to the Good Brothers in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's this Saturday is a very, very big event.
My anniversary. Yay.
That is your anniversary, but it's also I guess, what do we want to call? Payback, retribution.
I was gonna say they should have called this pay-per-view retribution or something. I mean, like this is gonna be personal. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be a pretty fight.
It's not going to be a pretty fight at all, but let's go ahead and bring in our guest, the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander is our guest tonight on the show. Josh, thanks for being here, man.
Well, thank you for the round of applause.
It's an honor. And like we said beforehand, like every time we have been approached by Impact, who do you want to talk to? Josh has always been the number one on the list, and we are excited to have you. And let's kind of just jump right into it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off real quick. Bound for Glory had to be a full range of emotions for you. I mean, can you describe the feeling of not only defeating a Hall of Famer and Canadian legend Christian Cage for the Impact World Championship, and then literally not even getting to celebrate with your family in the ring, and Moose comes in and cashes it in right there in front of your family? Talk about that to us.
Yeah.
I've talked about this like in several different ways since it's happened, 6 months ago, but I think the best way to describe it was the way I came to my text messages once I finally got to the locker room in the back. It was probably 15 different text messages, all the same. Oh my God, dude, congrats. You've earned it. You've done so much. And finally you got this opportunity. You're doing this. You're going to do great things. And then 2 minutes later, another blue bubble. Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
So, it was like I've said, it's the highest high of my career and, also the lowest low. And what's happened in the 6 months between then and now has only fueled the fire and made the story more interesting and put us at this point now where we're heading into Rebellion on Saturday. To see how intense this is going to be.
Oh, it's going to be brutal.
I was preoccupied at Bound for Glory, so I didn't get to watch live. And Battle text, he's like, "Dude, Josh got it." Like, holy crap, that's awesome, And then 2 minutes later, "Are you ready?" I was like, "Ready for what?" And he sent me I was like, "Tonight? What?" And so I think that's a lot of people's like just disbelief. I think it was honestly one of the craziest cash-ins. I mean, ever. I mean, whether it was Impact, WWE. I mean, that I don't think anyone really. I did not see it coming at all. So
no.
I can't imagine how you felt for 6 months. Just like, okay, one more day. Here we go. Before we kind of get into all things Impact, this is more just kind of a fun question. How crazy was your phone and social media the week you were mentioned on AEW programming by Brandi Rhodes? Was it just crazy?
Well, yeah, like I'm a guy that like I got kids and a wife and stuff. And when I'm home during the week, I like to put my phone down for the most part to try to,
live in the moment.
Live in the moment. And my phone was down as usual, and I usually pick it up periodically. And I picked it up and I looked at it, and I had like 25 different text messages. I was like, oh, and automatically I think, what's going on? But
here we go.
Thankfully, because of like Twitter and social media, I don't immediately go to, what tragedy just occurred or something like that. Now I'm just like, oh, something's buzzing. You know what I mean? Which was like the silver lining of that whole thing, I guess. But just a ton of messages to me like, dude, do you know what just happened? And it was in Milwaukee. And I've got a pretty big following in Chicago in the Midwest from like doing AEW for the past 10 plus years.
Oh, yeah.
So I had like people from there that were at the show live and heard it, and everybody was just like freaking out. And it only like with the whole contract thing being in flux at that time, I think that only fueled the fire for all like the rumor mill and stuff like that. So it definitely helped my situation a little bit, but yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Because that's what we kind of thought, because like you said, I mean, it was in that contract time of like, you had just finished with Impact. There was all that, what's happening next. And then she mentions you on AEW, and like the IWC went nuts. They're like, is Josh coming to AEW? Is him and Ethan going to get back together? Is this the sign? Because everybody looks for those little Easter eggs. And I was like, I really feel like there's something telling me that he is coming back to Impact Wrestling. I was like, you can't not leave not getting the title back. And sure enough, we got it. And you know, that's the great thing, is because like it was that whole, where's Josh going to end up next? Are we going to see him at this place, this place, this place? And then you showing up after Moose had a match, getting revenge there, and then showing off that contract that you signed. I got goosebumps, and I'm getting it right now thinking about that moment when I saw it on Twitter. And I was like, holy crap moment. And, you know, we recently read some comments, read your recent comments about Impact Wrestling being almost viewed as a stepping stone, you know, and for the longest time, that was kind of like a strong perception. I mean, it even felt like wrestlers believed that they always had Impact as a backup or a fallback plan if they went somewhere bigger. And then they're like, oh, we got cut and they came back here. With that stigma in mind, as well as your partner in the North, Ethan Page, jumping to AEW, what were some of the biggest factors in re-signing with Impact?
It was an easy decision for me, man. Like right now, I think the one thing that's changed in the pro wrestling landscape, especially for like free agents and professional wrestlers, is you need to be in the top 10% of talent. Regardless of whatever you have to offer, you have to be in the top 10% to have a job now in one of those sustainable positions at any of these companies, Impact included. Because, you know, as you've seen with AEW signing up everybody that they can and all this other stuff, it's just like the waters are kind of picked dry a little bit, and like whoever's left is kind of fighting for whatever's left. But like the thing that made my decision so much easier, I never planned on leaving. Everything that occurred, the Brandi comment, my visa not coming in, thus making my contract kind of, you know, up in the air and all this other stuff, that all just occurred like organically. And even Ethan Page working Christian Cage on Rampage, and Christian's last singles match was against me at Bound for Glory, like the synergy or whatever that was involved in that to make like the IWC community go crazy and speculate. That all just happened. Like none of it was planned on any of our parts. And if it was by somebody that nobody has admitted to me yet. Right. So it was all cool. But like for me, Impact gave me an opportunity when no other company would. I was in contact with the people at AEW before Impact ever considered signing me and approached me. And they had told me that they were not interested in me as a singles wrestler. Impact then came along and signed me. And before the North ever came to be, they were preparing to push me as a singles talent when I debuted. Like I did vignettes, I did video stuff that was never aired as me being a singles person. And then when I showed up my first day of work, there was like, actually, we're going to put you in the tag team with Ethan Page. Like, oh, great. Like we fit together. Like
not this guy again.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So like it all just kind of came to be. But like Impact, you know, I'm a big fan of like just being loyal, man. And like I was such a big fan of TNA back in the day, like the AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, low key stuff. Like I said it till I'm blue in the face. Those are the guys that got me into wrestling, made me love pro wrestling again, and made me even want to like try to do this as a career. So being here now, it means the world to me. And like it has nothing to do with being X Division champion, world champion, anything like that. This is the place I want to be, because I feel like since I've joined the company, I have seen this company grow. I have seen the locker room just improve with every transaction of somebody coming in, you know what I mean? And everybody in our locker room, from the most experienced of like the Eric Young to the Jay White who comes in now from New Japan, everybody has a chip on their shoulder. We all have something to prove. We all believe in this product. And I think that Impact's going to grow because of that. And we're all hungry. And this is the place I want to be. I want to be around hungry people that want to work.
Well, and it's pretty crazy because you sometimes, especially, I mean, we'll use Impact as an example, but I mean, there sometimes companies, organizations, whatever. I mean, you start massive and you kind of have to start whittling it down and kind of formulating your vision and you know, who you're going to attach the wagons to. But I'll say, I mean, since Anthem took over, I mean, Impact Wrestling is like nothing else on TV. I mean, it's just the production. I even remember the Impact House, which was kind of like the Real World and all that. Like, that was awesome. I mean, I loved that. I mean, it was kind of funny, kind of lighthearted, and trying to keep your mind off things with the pandemic. I mean, there's just so many different things, with Rosemary and the other world. I mean, there's just so many different things. It's kind of a something for everybody. This is kind of a bouncing off that one. What do you like best about working as a tag team? And then what do you like best about doing your own thing solo?
I mean, the tag team thing, like, if I'm looking at this from a pro wrestling perspective, I think a tag team match, like most people refer to gimmick matches as like a TLC match or a cage match or something. To me, one of like the biggest tidbits of information I got young in my career, and I can't remember who it was. It was an ex-WWE veteran. Like, it could have been Hacksaw Jim Duggan or somebody. I can't remember who said it, but they said a tag team match is a gimmick match. And for that reason and that reason alone, there should be no reason why a tag team match shouldn't be the show-stealing match on every single card, because you have so many things at your disposal. You have two people on the apron. You have all this excitement you can get in. You can use the ref as long as you use them properly and adhere to the rules and all this stuff. All these things to add excitement.
Hot tag.
Exactly. And it's all tools in your tool belt to help add emotion and excitement to your match to get the fans more invested, thus having a better match. And it really stuck to heart with myself and Ethan Page. And, we really wanted to like do that. And that's why when we showed up at Impact, I think we were so successful, because we just, we hammered out that we were sticking to the rules, even though we're bad guys. The ref's not going to see whatever we do wrong and all this other stuff. And we're going to try to have the best matches possible. That, and then the singles capacity, the reason why, like, I enjoy, like, I'll admit, I enjoy the singles stuff more, but that's only because I really enjoy the pressure. So when me and Ethan were facing the Good Brothers or something, that's a big matchup and all this other stuff, but I have somebody to share the stress with in that situation,
right,
if that makes any sense. But now, like, dude, going into Bound for Glory against Christian, biggest match of my career at that point, wrestling this legend that I watched when I was 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like a fellow Canadian, grew up an hour from me, and like all the pressure in the world, I'm backed against the wall, and it's just about challenging myself to see whether I can rise to the occasion. And the amount of adrenaline you get from that, I don't think it's matched. And that's why, like, I enjoy creating things as a single star.
Yeah. And of course, this Saturday, we have a good track record on this show. Everybody that comes on this show goes on to win the title. We also have the track record of everybody that has the title on this show goes on to lose it. So we recently talked to Moose. He's the current champion. You're on our show now going after the title. I'm pretty sure come Saturday, we're going to put this out in the universe that it's going to be at the end. Pinzer's going to be like, and new Impact World Champion.
Yeah.
Josh Alexander.
We had the New Japan Tag Team Champions and had them in studio, saw the belts, and then 7 days later they dropped the belt. And that was actually Finju. So if you run into them, say we're sorry.
But yeah, so Impact.
You've only solidified that I'm never appearing on this if I win.
Right.
Well,
hey, we'll just, here's the thing. If something 3 years down the road if you miraculously somehow lose the title, which after you win Saturday, you're going to be we'll say this, you'll be the longest reigning defending Impact champion. If 3 years later down the road and you drop the belts and you need to get it back, you know where to come to get back. So we'll get that out there on there for you. Of course, Impact Wrestling Spring Pay-Per-View Extravaganza Rebellion is live this Saturday. You can watch it on Fight. And if you're around the area, Poughkeepsie, New York, it's at the MJN Convention Center. So let me ask you this, because there's a guy inside the Impact roster, Matt Cardona, probably one of the hottest free agents in the world, and is the current Impact Digital Media Champion, as well as the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Now, let me ask you this. When you win the Impact World title, because we're saying that, are you going to defend it all over the world, or do you just prefer to defend it in an Impact ring?
I mean, I don't think there's going to be an Impact show where you won't see me gladly and willingly wanting to defend that world championship against any and all takers at all times. I think that's what a world champion, the person representing the company, should do. But yes, in addition to that, I plan on defending this world championship every single place all over the world against anybody that wants, to step up and challenge for it, because I think that, if I'm going to help Impact as a brand, especially as a champion, and, it'll help my own brand too, not going to lie, but like, if I can take that championship around the world and defend it against the very best, it's only going to get more eyes on me and more eyes on the company.
Does the belt make the man, or the man make the belt?
I mean, if you look at Moose's run, I think the man has to make the belt. The belt doesn't look very great right now, so it could use a shine up.
Especially on the terms of how he won the belt. So
we asked this question to the Good Brothers recently, and kind of get your opinion on it. This maybe goes to someone, maybe not in the spotlight every week, but who would you consider the MVP of the Impact roster right now?
Ooh, that is a tough question because I wouldn't want to single anybody out or forget.
I know there's a lot that could take that title for
like,
sure.
Yeah, but like when I said that, like this whole locker room has a chip on their shoulder, I mean, like, dude, if you were to tell me like 3 months ago this question, Tasha Steelz would have been one of the first people I said, because I was just like, I know how good she is, I know what she's capable of, and now everybody's seeing it as Knockouts champion and stuff like that. But like from all the way down, man, Steve Macklin's somebody that sticks out in my mind, as like somebody that was in the X division that's probably like teetering on his way getting towards the heavyweight division that I could see, on my radar in the future and stuff like that, and just the stuff that he's been turning out since he showed up in Impact. He's really shown everybody this identity that I don't think anybody saw when he was in NXT and WWE before. So yeah, there's just a long list.
I think we just found out who might try to challenge Josh for that world title after he wins it on Saturday. I guess it might be Steve going after that bout if he's on your radar. So, I mean, I'll buy a ticket for that. Hopefully it's at a show in Nashville, but then again, I'll travel. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
So, I just talked about Steve, and once you win the title after Saturday, because again, we're putting it out in the universe because it's going to happen. Who are some opponents at the top of your list of contenders for when you become that new Impact World Champion? Of course, we just mentioned Steve, but is there anybody else?
I could see Speedball Mike Bailey hot on my trail, whether or not,
that was a huge get for Impact. Sorry. I mean, that was massive. And for the people that don't know, especially in the States, that's an incredible get. Sorry.
No. I totally, dude, he signed his contract on my back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I was so happy for him, and I knew the second that any eyes got on him and he got that visa, it was just going to be like a rocket ship. Man.
Yeah.
So I can see him being hot on the trail if he wants to jump out of the X division and, skip straight to the heavyweight division. I think the matches we can put on are going to be, unlike anything anybody's seen in Impact Wrestling in a very long time. But like, you can't count anybody out, man. Like I said, that roster from like Steve Mike Bailey, Macklin, Eric Young, Eddie Edwards. Now you got Matt Taven and Mike Bennett jumping in there, all the way down, man. I can't like single anybody out specifically because that it could be anybody.
Well, and when it comes to the world title, people do obviously some nefarious things as judging by Moose, So yeah, that'll be. I'm sure the matches you're gonna have are gonna be ridiculous. This one is a fun one because I mean we kind of do these kind of questions all the time, so I'm sure you can relate. Can you name your personal top 5 greatest Canadian wrestlers of all time?
Dude, I get asked this question
all the time. I was gonna say in the States we're always like, what's your Mount Rushmore? But of course I didn't know what you guys had in Canada comparable to that. So anyway, whatever.
I just remember saying this like 2 weeks ago and somebody was shocked by my number 5, but I'm just gonna make sure I say all the same names. Bret Hart is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For Canadians, as a young Canadian fan, who was like 8 years old when he discovered wrestling, I found out Bret Hart was from Canada. I was like, oh my God. And then you grow up and you become a wrestler and you realize how actually, perfect he was as a professional wrestler, that like, it's only that much more admirable.
Oh yeah.
Him and Owen, him, Owen, Edge, Jericho. And yeah, my 5th was Sami Zayn. So
underrated. I mean,
very underrated.
He gets his moments here and there. I think he obviously shined a little bit more before current company, but it's fun. How do you tiptoe around? Like, how do you? Anyways, no, he's incredible. It's always tough because then you could throw in Christian. You could throw in Lance Storm. I mean, there's so many guys from Canada, really.
Yeah, the man you do not mention from Calgary. There's a ton.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
But
if people skip over the Quebec scene that was like so prominent back in the
yeah,
day.
I was gonna say he's got his little Kevin Owen shirt on right now.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Kevin
My
Steen.
my
Kevin
Steen Wolf.
Yeah, Steen Wolf. But yeah, going back to Brett, I mean, it's so like, I mean, it's almost like otherworldly going back and watching. I mean, I flipped on something. It wasn't even like a pay-per-view, it was just like a Superstars or Raw or something. He was fighting. I don't even know. It wasn't like a big match, but I mean, like, it would be like things like, someone reversed, hit him with a clothesline, he goes down, they pin, and he kicks up instantly because it was like at the very beginning of the match. And then 5 minutes later, the guy gets a 1 count and he kicks up. And it's like, you can tell the guy's wearing him down, and it's just like stuff like that. It's just like, it's just incredible. It's the small stuff, and it's just, yeah. Anyway, sorry. We could talk about Bret Hart all day long.
This will be the part 2 of the episode.
Yeah.
The way I describe it to like young wrestling students and anybody that does seminars with me and stuff like that is always that, like, Bret, the things that he did in the ring, me as a kid watching and as a fan watching, I may not have noticed. The casual fan might not notice these things, like, consciously, but subconsciously, those things that you're talking about, like the quicker kickouts and like the progressive beat down and all the other stuff, that is something that subconsciously every human being watching, anybody with eyes, can digest and understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just not the obvious things that are done, but it's the stuff that isn't so obvious that is so special.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I think him and Ric Flair kind of both had this mentality, but it's just like, they wanted these matches to look like real fights. I mean, they wanted it to look like when the Undertaker's kicking him, I mean, he's really like, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's just, okay, sorry.
we could do this for hours.
I was going to say, yeah.
But, we don't want to,
I should have worn, I've got a Bret Hart ugly sweater that like lights up and everything. Like I should have worn that for this.
You
episode.
should have.
Anyways,
oh man. So let me ask this, because Impact for the most part has been on the upward swing since the new management came to power, and it's been phenomenal. No pun intended, AJ Styles shout out. But what can Impact do? Yes. What can Impact do to further carve out their own voice within pro wrestling while also expanding their audience for new crowds?
Dude, I think we're like, it's all building the right way. I think the locker room we've put together is perfect. It's all hungry people that want to work, like I said before. But like that soundbite or whatever quote that I had from earlier in the week where I said that, I didn't like that Impact was used as a stepping stone. I think that that rings true. I think that, like, when we build stars, we need to retain them. And, to continue stuff like that. And I think we need to just keep growing the roster in the same way we are. Like Deanna, the stuff she's done since she came in like 2 years ago is like next, like, bar none, probably the best stuff that Impact's done. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then now, you have her against Taya this Saturday night for Rebellion. And someone like Taya, I think, would be like a valuable part to this locker room and stuff like that. Yeah. We just need to address that stuff. And I think that that's everything that's happening already. I'm not saying that it's like a mistake or anything, because it's happening, but, working with New Japan and getting some big matches there, like me getting to wrestle Suzuki and Jay White being involved, the Bullet Club and stuff has been, very big for us. And if we can continue stuff like that and bringing in people like that, I think it's just going to bring more eyes to us. And that's all we need, man. I think Impact, we had a really great run. And I think, like, a lot of eyes fell off in the dark ages of those mid 2010s or whatever it was. You know what I mean? But, like, it's rebounded very nicely, and it's some of the best product out there. And I think all it takes is for people to give us a second chance. And once they do, all those eyes are going to be retained. It's just whether or not we get them to click on them for that one time. And that's the first goal.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the event that got me back. It was it Homecoming? Was it 2018 Battle? I think it was 2018.
The one we were at the fairgrounds?
The fairgrounds, yeah. It was either 2018 or 2019. I don't remember. But it was at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And I mean, like, I don't remember the main event, I think, was Brian Cage against someone.
It was Brian Cage versus Johnny Impact.
That's right. But the match,
that dude from Survivor was there, cost him the match.
That's right. Yeah. But I mean, we saw Lucha Brothers versus LAX in a tag team match, and that was my match of the year. I mean, it was just I mean, we saw the car, like, okay, skip, whatever, and then we sat down and watched that. And it's just like, what it is going, and I mean, so that was 4 years ago. So I think it was just like that whole, like, shedding the image of, the WWE rejects, or having the legends come in and run the asylum, and you do it, kind of had to cut all that out. And now it's like, we're going to put on an incredible pro wrestling product, so getting back to Rebellion, your chance to reclaim the belt. It's kind of weird calling you a former champ, because you only had it for a short time, like I keep saying, like, you're finally going to win it, but I guess technically win it back.
On this show, we do not say he's a former champ, because he is a champ.
There we go. Yeah. What are your keys to victory to reclaiming the world title against Moose this weekend at Rebellion?
I mean, as much as it's been said over the past few months, this whole keeping my emotions in check, I think I'm smart enough to know the reasons why Moose has done the things he's done. He's hoping that, cooler heads will not prevail, and then I'll get myself into more trouble than he'll be able to get me in, because I think that if you look at it, I honestly think on the scouting report, I stack up pretty nicely against Moose in the experience and the raw wrestling ability and skill. Moose is a great athlete. I'll give him all of that, but I don't think in a wrestling match that Moose is going to match me blow for blow, in the IQ range especially. So, it's just about me keeping my cool and understanding what got me here, because I found all the success, especially in the past 3 years here in Impact Wrestling, and the one thing that can really screw that up is me getting out of my zone. And, I think I just need to be conscious of that.
For sure.
Well, he can definitely get under people's skin. So, known for that.
So this is kind of a fun thing that I'm just kind of going off course for a quick second. And now that you're re-signed with Impact and you're there, let's jump in the time machine, I guess. Go back to the early TNA days, NWA TNA days. Who would you want to have a match with from those early days?
We're talking like Asylum years?
Asylum years. I was there every Wednesday night pay-per-view for those bad boys.
So jealous.
And I will show you before you answer this. This was from one of those Asylum days right here. That's me.
Oh,
yeah. So there's that. That was from the early Asylum days. So yeah.
I might have some strange picks for you, but Jerry Lynn would probably be very high on that list, man. That the early X Division stuff, like the AJ Styles that you see today, I don't think would be that AJ Styles if he didn't face Jerry Lynn in all those matches he had.
That's right.
TNA, like the whole thing, like that, because to me the X Division is what made Impact special in the beginning. Yeah. And then, a couple of years in, they added the Knockouts division, and that made it even more special because they were really the first one to do the whole, women's revolution type thing. That was happening in TNA years before it happened.
Way forward thinking. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But the X Division, like I said, was the thing that hooked me and really made me become a fan. I think Jerry Lynn was like the linchpin of that division in the early days and really helped people like Low Key and AJ Styles and Amazing Red and all those people that, really hooked me as a fan. So he would be probably my number one pick.
Yeah, we just got news he's going to be teaching up here at a wrestling school in the Nashville area. We're like, holy crap, that's a humongous get. So this is one more, and then we'll kind of wrap it up unless he has anything. Was there any team that you faced while you were in the North that you can't believe, like Good Brothers? I never thought we'd see anything like that. I mean, did you guys have a match where you're just like, I can't believe we're about to have this match? Was there any that stood out in your time in the North?
The Motor City Machine Guns match.
Oof, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. The day after Slammiversary, because I remember they showed up to Slammiversary. We didn't know about it. Like they were even on the pay-per-view until we got there because it was like a surprise for everybody. And
oh, wow.
At the time we were driving to Nashville, we weren't really in contact with anybody, but we saw them show up. We're like, oh, and then somebody mentioned it. It's like, oh, I think they're wrestling you guys tomorrow. And we're like, and like both of us had to be like, can you believe this is happening? Like,
yeah,
we never thought that was going to be a possibility for sure.
Yeah, that was the one we were at, right, Battle?
I believe so.
Yeah, because I think because we were there when they were. We were at that one. Yeah.
Because that was the TV tapings. Because I think at Slammiversary, I think that was when Ethan was in the Ultimate X.
No, that was Homecoming.
That was Homecoming.
Yeah,
that was Homecoming. Right.
Yeah, Slammiversary, we wrestled Sammy and Shamrock, and there was no crowds at this time. And then we
That
had to
was-
wrestle the Machine Guns the next day in front of no crowd.
That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we weren't. I think that was the one. There was no crowd, so that was the one we watched on pay-per-view. The one we were at was last year, 2021. That's what it was.
That
Yeah.
was my Ultimate X match. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Because I remember, I think that was
You got the picture of him
I
hanging.
posted the
upside
photo.
down, right?
It was the barrel of monkeys of all you guys doing the little thing.
Yeah.
I don't know where that photo's at, but I
Yeah.
remember
I think
taking
it went viral, and then we didn't get credit for it or something.
I like Barrel of Monkeys description much better than the Human Centipede description I've heard.
Yeah, we don't want to do that one.
No,
I'm trying to see if
we'll
I can
take that
find
one.
this one. But real quick before we let you go, of course, you're going to be the champion after Saturday. Where can people keep up with you online? Where's the best place?
I mean, Instagram and Twitter for all your walking weapon needs is walking_weapon. It's pretty easy that way. And just check me out every Thursday night, 8 o'clock on Access TV or Fight Network in Canada for Impact Wrestling.
There it is. And of course, this Saturday, we got it. Rebellion live on Fight. And we're going to be able to watch at the end. Pinzer's going to go, and new Impact World Heavyweight Champion, Josh Alexander. And you're going to get that recognition you deserve. Your family's going to come in there. And you know what? I'll get Ross to get the Impact private jet to fly us up there, and we'll stand ringside. So if Moose tries to do something, we ain't going to let that happen.
And
I got my son there, Jet, as backup, hopefully. So,
well, when we talked to the Good Brothers, I let them know that my anniversary is the 23rd. And so I will be watching, as you can imagine how that went over in my house. So when you do win the belt, I'll tweet out something and, hey, I'm watching on my anniversary. So you'll know that I was watching on your anniversary.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, thank you again for coming on the show. And we're looking forward to Saturday. We're looking forward to you to reclaim what is yours and send Moose home packing. And thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.